just following Ms. Finlay's contribution on salmon and some of the real stress that's been placed on the workforce on the West Coast, and also following our trip quite quickly organised by Ms. Finlay to Macquarie Harbour during the parliamentary break, where I thought I was leaving Hobart to go to Smithton, Mr Deputy Speaker, and it was diverted to Macquarie Harbour as organised by the precocious and very big supporter of the salmon industry, Ms Finlay, and was able to spend the day with Steve Thompson, who's a worker and a manager at Tassal, who took us out on the boat at Macquarie Harbour. I'm originally from the West Coast, Mr Deputy Speaker, but I left when I was very young, and it was actually the first time out on the water at Macquarie Harbour, and I didn't realise the sheer size of it and the spectacular scenery. It was one of the most beautiful places in Tasmania, and I think one of the reasons why the locals there are so passionate about the industry is because they get to work in it every day. Every day they get to jump out of bed, jump on the boat and head out into one of the most beautiful places in Tasmania and Australia and possibly the world, which is Macquarie Harbour. And Ms Finlay wasn't able to complete the entire contribution from Lyndon, who's a worker at HAC, but I wanted to read one of the other contributions and emails that I've received. This one's from Andrew. Andrew is a West Coaster as well, and he said, "Hi, my name's Andrew and I currently work for Huon Aquaculture and I reside locally here in Strahan. I wish to express my concern about the proposed measures for our local industry and what it will mean not only for myself and my family, but also my fellow work colleagues and the community overall. I'm approaching 10 years employment at Huon Aquaculture, which has been exclusively spent here in Strahan, and as you can all surely appreciate, I've witnessed and experienced many changes within the industry and in particular at this harbour. All of the events have taken place within this industry during my time here in Strahan. This is by far the scariest and threatening to my own personal livelihood, along with everyone that is employed here in this magnificent coastal town. Not only will I be immediately impacted by the proposed measures, but also my extended family, who operate small businesses within the town, will feel the flow-on effects due to the fact this will almost certainly spell the end of the potential future income that is relied upon during the off-season periods." Just a little backstory, I'm originally from the West Coast, but I spent the majority of my life around the Devonport, Port Sorell region. After driving in and driving out of Strahan for the best part of 6 years, I decided to move back to my original hometown, and over the last 4 years I've had 2 children, one of which is about to start school, purchased my first home and established many lifetime friends within this remarkable and unique community. In a nutshell, I've managed to establish really strong roots and a secure future for my family, all because of the opportunities that the industry has provided me. The recent news doing the rounds has already showed evidence of unease within our workplace as well as general public, and I plead with all those who have the power to seriously consider the livelihoods of all members of our community, because of this industry provides the backbone of this town, and I fear the compromising of aquaculture here in Strahan will fracture the community to an unprecedented degree. I truly hope that all solutions to this current predicament are being explored to the fullest potential, and I trust that a high degree of consideration is being made to the families that exist here in the town because of aquaculture. I look forward to the future developments and findings on this topic. Yours sincerely, Andrew. Mr Deputy Speaker, that's why we support the salmon industry, because of people like Andrew. We support the aquaculture industry because of the opportunities that it's provided to so many Tasmanians, because of the lifestyle, because of the way of life, and because of the way that it has held up the West Coast. Towns like Strahan and Queenstown, which are now being supported so heavily, not only through the traditional mining sector, which of course has a really positive impact, but also the aquaculture industry. I think the impacts economically cannot be doubted, and when I hear comments from, particularly from the Greens, who ask questions basically saying we should immediately shut down Macquarie Harbour, I'm devastated for the community that they have to be exposed to comments like that from people who claim to hold the moral high ground, who don't seem to care about people. I'm devastated for them when I hear that. We were really lucky to have that tour. We were really lucky to spend time in the workplace that those Tasmanians get to spend time on every single day. And I want to acknowledge Tassal for allowing us to do it, Huon Aquaculture for being so open about the science and what they do, and also Petuna, who've taken Ms Finlay and I out on a boat only recently to see some of their plans for the future. I want to say that Luke Martin and his influence on Salmon Tasmania has been profoundly positive so far. Salmon Tasmania is operating extremely well, and they are lobbying and doing a great job of making sure that industry gets the best outcome possible. We need to make sure that the Tasmanian government is strongly on the side of the salmon industry. We don't need a government that's going to place moratoriums on the industry. We don't need a government that's going to use the salmon industry as a test case for full cost recovery. But unfortunately, that's what we've got. We've got a minister who says she doesn't want to let the industry off the hook. We need to make sure that this parliament and this government is fully behind the industry as it is exposed to major challenges and major risks. We need to make sure that that industry and their workers, in particular their workers, know that we are behind them. Labor's behind them. We need the Liberals to be behind them. We need the whole parliament to be behind those workers to make sure they know that their jobs are safe. I also want to acknowledge the Australian Workers Union, who I know has been working with those workers, with Salmon Tasmania, with the companies to make sure that Canberra understands exactly what's going on here and what it means to the west coast of Tasmania. I think this is an important matter that the parliament needs to take note of. We need to be strong. We need to stand up for Tasmania. We need to stand up for jobs.